Hi everybody, Mario and Claire here. We've got some ground pork and ground beef mixed together. We're gonna do just kind of fry it up, saute it in a pan, probably is the best word for it. But this gives us an opportunity for really when we make little small snacks I like to take in between my lunch and before I come home from work. We're gonna mix in some chopped carrots. We've got some onions and garlic here, and just at the end we have some very thinly sliced and chopped zucchini. Add a little brightness to these burgers. Really kind of a way to sneak in some extra vegetables on your kids. Well, we're going to kind of get this, we've got a nice big pan here, so we've got a lot of surface area. And then we'll go ahead and put in some olive oil. Go ahead and get a good coating on the bottom. And one of the things I like to get started before we even add any of the vegetables, we like to add a little bit of crushed chili pepper in there. We add some more spice. Let that come to temperature and get some of the oils out of those chili peppers. It'll add a lot to this ground meat as we saute it up. All right, so this big pan's gotten up to temperature. We've got our red chili flakes now in the oil that we're going with. And we're gonna add in our onions and garlic. We wanna get those started. There you go, you can get that nice piece going. And we don't wanna walk away and just let it go because they can burn pretty easily. These are finely chopped. So they'll heat up very quickly, and if you don't pay attention, they can burn very quickly. We just want to move them around, make sure they've got a good coating. The nice thing about having a big pan is you've got a lot of surface area, so you don't have to worry about things really getting piled on top of each other. Especially as we keep adding components, you have to watch for the temperature to drop. But once we get you can even see here very quickly it's starting to change colors just a little bit. So it's going pretty well. Carrots take a little bit longer to cook. But because that's another reason why we did finely chop them. So we can get them all in, get them going, and get them to cook down fairly well. So as we get into this ground meat, everything is really incorporated well. You can even hear how the sound's kind of gone down a little bit, and that's because as we add ingredients, the temperature drops. But we've got a fairly good amount now in here, so we're going to go ahead and add some salt and pepper. Get these items salted, get them up to speed. We don't want to add too much because we're still going to salt our meat when we put it in the pan. And the salt will start adding and adding onto itself. So we kind of have to balance how much salt do we put on the vegetables, how much salt do we then add to the meat. But as we go, this is a great way to another opportunity or another option for ground beef, ground pork by itself. But really, if you're tired of taco meat, if you're tired of hamburgers, if you're tired of kind of that way you've always thought of doing it, here's a different way to saute that ground meat and put it a little bit different. If you're going more low carb, carrots have some carbs, but it's a pretty good vegetable to still have in the dish. But you can put this alongside your rice, your potatoes, and like I said, if you're going more of a no carb, put alongside other vegetables, broccoli or asparagus, zucchini, all great options to go with. And if your kids need a little more starch to go along with it, they can eat it with chips or tortillas. Like I said, rice. It's a great dish. Really great way to mix up your ground meat game, if you will. All right, So it's been about 5 minutes. It's really started to sweat out. The carrots are really getting a nice, more golden color. The oil is really turning a nice golden color. Now we're ready to go ahead and add in the pork.
And beef.
And beef, that's right. Pork and beef. It's a combination. What we had done is we had a pound of ground beef and a pound and a half of ground pork. And we had mixed those together earlier and take it and split it about in half. So overall we had about a pound and a quarter of meat. And then so just trying to break it up so that it spreads out a little bit more. You notice pork is a little more sticky, right? So it kind of binds together a little bit more. But as we keep stirring it and breaking it up as it cooks and folding in the carrots and onions and garlic, and we'll really get all of these things dispersed around. We kind of spread it out and use the whole surface area of the pan to get it all starting to go. We add a little bit more salt. You remember we add a little bit of salt on the carrots, but now because we've got all of this meat in here, we need to go ahead and season it with just salt and pepper and get it thoroughly incorporated, and keep breaking it down so it really becomes a lot more loose and less like it's patties. Later on, if I wanted to throw this in with some rice, you can use this with dirty rice, or if I wanted to maybe form these into meatballs or links, would go really good with jambalaya. Maybe that'll be another episode. It's some really good.
And lettuce cups.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea, Claire. So another great way to eat this kind of meal, eat this version of ground meat with lettuce cups. So another great low carb option. But what's really nice and I really like about beef and pork and in this manner is you can season it any way you want. You can add whatever spices you want. If you want a little more Asian flair, if you want a little more Cajun, whatever way happens to be the way you want to go. It's a great palette to experiment, to try different kinds of flavors out. It gives you a lot of different options. Maybe you don't have every kind of spice you want, but whatever ones you have in your cabinet at the time, it's an easy whoop it up kind of meal. So we're going to finish this off, and then as we get a little bit farther, you see how it's really browning up well. It's getting pretty close. As we finish getting it all browned up, get most of the pink cleared up, and I keep breaking it up because I don't want big chunks. I want some smaller bite-sized chunks so it's still easy to eat, easy to divide up. Almost small enough I could put it on a chip or throw it into a tortilla or a lettuce cup. I think we're in a pretty good spot now. It's going to take about another minute to finish cooking all the way, and so now I'm going to toss in the last of these little zucchini. So I've sliced very thin and very small wedges. They cook very fast, so that's why we waited all the way to the end, because if you want them to be more mushy, whatever way you want to say it, right? More less bite. Leave them in a little bit longer. I like them a little bit with a little bit of bite, a little bit of texture. So we wait really till the very end just to incorporate them all. There's already enough salt in the meat, and when I salted the carrots earlier, so we really don't even need to add salt again. As we mix these all the way through and get fully incorporated, these will pick up a little bit of that chili, crushed chili flakes, the oils, the garlic, the carrots that have come through.
Now, if you did add a little bit of salt, that would probably pull some water out of the zucchini, so you'd get a little bit more moisture.
Yeah, Claire's absolutely right. If we add a little bit of salt now, We get a little bit of the water that comes out of the zucchini, almost adding a little bit of creating a little bit more of a sauce.
And if you chop up the zucchini super fine and the carrots super fine, then your children will never know that it's in the meat.
Yeah, this is the way Claire
Intense.
got vegetables into our children at a very early age, and now they eat them all the time. So my oldest son loves carrots. My younger son will eat zucchini all day long. So it's really great. As we come a little bit closer, you can see there's still some oils, but there's even more juices. Some of the fats has come out of the pork. Really great. This is going to divide up well for snacks or lunches. So it's a great thing to prepare for the week ahead. Thanks for watching.